Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to our viewers. We hope this message finds you in good health and high spirits. Before we begin, we would be incredibly grateful if you'd take a moment to subscribe to the Rohn Insights channel. It is your support that allows us to continue creating and sharing these valuable lessons. The team dedicates countless hours to researching, scripting, and producing these videos to ensure the highest quality content. We put in the work because we deeply value your commitment to personal growth. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Most people won't truly live 10 years over the next decade. Instead, they live 1 year 10 times. They have the same habits, they use the same excuses, they maintain the same level of income and the same level of effort. They tell themselves the same stories, they simply repeat the pattern. Then they wonder why nothing ever changes. You can't call that growth, you can only call it survival. Standing still is not neutral. It is actually very expensive. While you stand still, the world is moving on, your competitors are improving, opportunities are evolving, and time is collecting interest on the lessons you refuse to learn. The cost of standing still is invisible at first, but it will show up later as regret. Regret for the chances you didn't take. Regret for the conversations you avoided. Regret for the skills you never developed. See, next year won't be better just because the calendar changes. January doesn't bring magic. It only brings more of what you've been doing. That is, unless you change what you're doing. Change is the only insurance against regret. Here's the good news, though. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to stop standing still. Improvement is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. You owe it to your future self to be better than you are now. Not perfect, just better. The only way to make sure next year rewards you more is to become someone who deserves more. The seed of improvement is awareness. The moment you stop saying someday and start saying this day, life begins to shift. Growth doesn't wait for permission. It starts the moment you decide that comfort is no longer worth the cost. So ask yourself, how many times have you lived the same year? How many times have you promised yourself that things would change only to drift back into the same patterns? The truth is you don't drift toward success. You drift toward average. Success requires direction. If you want next year to be different, you must decide what needs to be different about you. The marketplace doesn't care about your hopes. It only responds to your value. Your relationships, your health, your income, all of it reflects who you've become, not what you've wished for. So here is the starting line: improvement. Improvement in thought, improvement in discipline, improvement in focus, improvement in execution. The good life is not built on luck or timing, it's built on steady, intentional progress. The next 12 months will pass anyway. Whether they add to your life or just subtract from it depends on what you do with them. Time is not your enemy, it's your amplifier. It multiplies whatever you give it. Waste it, and it multiplies regret. Invest it, and it multiplies reward. Standing still costs too much. Choose motion. Choose growth. Choose to build a year that rewards effort, not excuses. The clock is running. Make sure it's running towards something worthwhile. Where does it all start? Every improvement begins with discipline. Without it, nothing holds together. Ambition fades, plans collapse, motivation disappears, discipline is the backbone of progress. Too many people misunderstand it. They think discipline is punishment. It isn't. Discipline is training. It's the bridge between what you want and what you get. It connects desire to result. Every success story is built on that bridge. Discipline starts small. The way you start your morning, the way you spend the first hour of the day, whether you show up when you said you would. Whether you do the thing you promised yourself to do even after the excitement fades. Those small acts, repeated daily, shape a life. I used to believe success required massive effort in short bursts. Work hard for a few weeks, then relax. But I learned that real progress comes from steady consistency. It comes from daily disciplines, not occasional heroics. Missing a day doesn't seem like much. Missing a week feels small. But miss a month and your old habits return to reclaim the ground. Discipline asks for payment up front. Comfort collects payment later with interest. Every time you choose the easy path, you make a silent agreement to face harder consequences later. Every time you choose discipline, you buy freedom. Freedom from regret, from mediocrity, from dependence. Start with one small commitment. Get up when you say you will. Read 10 pages every day. Save a small portion of your income. Move your body for 20 minutes. The action itself isn't the victory, the habit is. The moment you can trust yourself to follow through, you've built the foundation for every other goal. Discipline is not about controlling everything. It's about mastering yourself enough to make consistent choices that align with your goals. It is the quiet power behind every strong life. The athlete trains when no one is watching. The entrepreneur studies while others play around. The leader prepares before the meeting begins. Those are not dramatic moments, but they separate the good from the great. Here is the truth. No one can give you discipline. Only you can build it. Others can inspire you, but only you can enforce it. No coach, no mentor, no manager can do your push-ups for you. You must decide who's in charge, you or your impulses. Discipline gives you confidence. Confidence doesn't come from praise or luck. It comes from knowing you've done what's required. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you no longer need to pretend. You walk with quiet certainty because your habits prove your intent. Most people wait for motivation to act. That is backward. Action creates motivation. Discipline starts the motion and momentum keeps it alive. Once you build momentum, life becomes easier. Not because the challenges vanish, but because you are stronger than the challenge. So before next year arrives, ask, what disciplines must I install? What behaviors, if practiced daily, would guarantee growth? Write them down, practice them, guard them. Because when you lose discipline, you lose direction. Every dream you have depends on this one quality. Self-discipline is the root of self-respect. It is the evidence that you take your future seriously. Without discipline, desire stays fantasy. With discipline, it becomes achievement. Next, you must improve your focus. Focus determines the quality of your results. The mind is like sunlight, powerful when concentrated, harmless when scattered. Most people never reach their potential because they diffuse their attention across too many things. They confuse movement with progress. They confuse noise with productivity. They confuse activity with achievement. Attention is the new currency. Every day, countless distractions compete to withdraw from your mental account. The phone rings. The inbox fills. The mind drifts. Every interruption costs focus. Every bit of lost focus drains momentum. Improvement begins when you start managing attention as carefully as you manage money. You wouldn't hand your wallet to a stranger. Yet many hand their focus to anything that flashes. Every wasted hour steals from the future you're trying to build. The key is not to do more, but to do less better. Clarity multiplies results. Confusion divides them. When the mind is divided, effort loses power. A divided effort produces half results, no matter how much energy you spend. Think of a laser and a light bulb. They both use energy, but one cuts through steel while the other barely lights a room. The difference is focus. Life works the same way. Concentrate your energy on what matters most, and the results become extraordinary. This year, decide what truly deserves your attention. Every yes must have 1,000 silent no's behind it. You can't chase every opportunity. You can't respond to every voice. Every time you say yes to something trivial, you say no to something significant. The world rewards specialists, not generalists. Mastery demands focus. Dabblers stay busy, professionals stay effective. It's better to master one vital skill than to half-learn 20. Focus doesn't just multiply performance, it multiplies time. Here is a truth to remember. Business is the enemy of progress. Most people fill their days with tasks that make them feel active but not effective. The goal is not to stay busy. The goal is to stay productive. Every moment spent reacting to noise is a moment stolen from creation. Guard your mental environment. Begin the day before the world intrudes. Think before you turn on the television. Read before you check. Reflect before you reply. Create before you consume. Control what goes in and you'll control what comes out. Improvement doesn't come from doing more. It comes from focusing more sharply. Energy scattered on too many fronts produces exhaustion without progress. but energy directed toward one clear aim builds momentum that compounds. Every distraction carries a hidden cost, the delay of your dreams. Each interruption you tolerate stretches the distance between you and your potential. Learn to protect your focus like a treasure, because it is. Next year will not reward the most talented, it will reward the most focused. Attention, when properly managed, can transform ordinary effort into extraordinary success. So before you plan your next year, ask, where has your attention gone? What deserves it and what doesn't? Improvement requires cutting noise, not adding activity. Success doesn't belong to the one who does the most. It belongs to the one who does the right thing long enough without losing sight of the goal. Focus is the multiplier. When you control attention, you control your future. Here is what else we must improve: our energy. It is the foundation of all performance. You can't build a strong year on a weak body. You can't lead others when you can't lead yourself out of fatigue. A tired body dulls ambition. A clear mind inside a healthy body creates momentum. Your body is the engine that drives your dreams. When the engine runs poorly, every other part of life slows down. You think slower, you act slower, you decide slower. Slow responses in a fast world cost opportunities. I used to think success required only mental toughness, but energy is more than physical. It is emotional, mental, and spiritual strength combined. When your energy is low, everything looks difficult. When your energy is high, everything looks possible. The first investment for next year is not a new goal. It is renewed vitality. Without energy, even good intentions collapse. With energy, even small efforts compound. Start with sleep. Most people treat it like a nuisance, but sleep is the reset button for the mind. You can't grind your way through exhaustion forever. The body collects every unpaid debt of rest. Eventually, it sends the bill in the form of burnout, illness, or lost clarity. The most productive people are not those who never rest. They are those who rest strategically. Then comes nutrition. The body can't run on junk and stress. Food is not just pleasure, it's fuel. Poor fuel means poor focus. Eat for performance, not for comfort. What you consume either strengthens your system or slows it down. Small adjustments here compound over time, just like financial investments do. And then movement. The body was designed to move. When you move, you circulate energy, you strengthen discipline, you remind yourself that motion creates momentum. A walk, a stretch, a few minutes of deliberate exercise each day. It all adds up. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Energy management is more important than time management. You can have 12 hours available, but if your energy is gone, your hours are useless. Guard your energy like capital. Spend it on what multiplies it. Avoid what drains it. Even your emotions affect energy. Worry, anger, resentment, they are expensive. They drain your power faster than physical work ever could. Gratitude, on the other hand, renews energy. So does enthusiasm, purpose, and laughter. They restore what the day takes away. Next year will require more from you. More focus, more creativity, more stamina. Don't expect to rise if your energy stays low. You can't perform at your best with a body that's constantly asking for help. So take care of it, feed it right, rest it well, move it daily. And watch how every other area of life begins to improve. Better energy means better thoughts. Better thoughts lead to better actions. Better actions produce better results. A strong body supports a strong mind, and together they create strong outcomes. Neglect the body and the mind pays the price. Nurture both and you multiply your advantage. The body doesn't need perfection, it needs consistency. Treat it like a partner, not a prisoner. It's not about image, it's about endurance. Because you can't change the world if you can't get out of bed. So before next year begins, build your foundation. Energy first. Everything else rests on it. Next, you should improve your financial knowledge. Money is a mirror. It reflects your habits, not your hopes. It tells the truth about your discipline, your priorities, and your thinking. You can't improve your life without improving how you handle money. Financial improvement doesn't come from luck. It comes from control. If you don't control money, money will control you. Most people don't have an income problem, they have a management problem. They earn, they spend, they forget. Then they wonder why nothing grows. Wealth doesn't come from what you make, it comes from what you keep. The habit of keeping part of all you earn is the seed of independence. The moment you start saving, you start owning your future. You stop trading peace of mind for paychecks. Improvement begins by finding and fixing leaks. The small leaks sink the big ships. A few pounds here, a quick impulse there, a recurring expense never reviewed. Every careless purchase steals from something more important, your freedom. Track your spending, not to restrict yourself, but to understand yourself. Where your money goes, your attention follows. Debt is another silent drain. There is good debt and there is expensive debt. Borrowing to build capacity can be smart. Borrowing to satisfy impulse is not. Interest is the reward you pay for impatience. Learn to delay gratification long enough for your future to thank you. Replace emotional spending with intentional investing. Don't buy to impress, buy to progress. Every purchase should either improve your capacity, extend your reach, or enrich your life meaningfully. If it does none of those, skip it. You will never regret money you didn't waste. Financial growth begins in the mind. The broke mentality says, you can't afford it. The wealth mentality says, how can you afford it? The first closes possibility. The second opens it. Learn to think like a builder, not a consumer. Builders multiply, consumers drain. Your habits around money create your financial destiny long before your income rises. Handle a small amount poorly, and more will only magnify the problem. Handle it wisely, and you prepare yourself for larger responsibility. Learn the basics: budgeting, saving, investing. You don't need to be an expert, but you must be intentional. A plan, even a small one, beats drifting. The goal isn't luxury, it's stability. Once you're stable, you can expand. Here is something most forget: money grows for those who respect time. The earlier you start saving, the more time multiplies your efforts. Compounding is not magic, it's discipline meeting patience. Don't envy others' possessions. Most of what looks rich isn't. Real wealth is quiet. It shows up as freedom of time, peace of mind, and the ability to help others. The car fades, but freedom endures. So as this year closes, take inventory. Know where your money goes, plug the leaks, build a cushion, create a plan. And when the next year begins, let your finances reflect wisdom, not emotion. Money, when managed well, becomes a servant that builds your dreams. When mismanaged, it becomes a master that steals them. The choice is always yours. Next year won't bless those who wish, it will bless those who plan. The next one is extremely important. If you want to have a successful year, you must not only improve, but protect your environment. Your environment shapes your direction, the people you spend time with, the conversations you entertain, the standards you accept. All of it forms the atmosphere in which your future grows or dies. You can't improve your life while staying in relationships that sabotage your effort. Every association carries influence. Some lift you, some hold you, some quietly drain you. Improvement requires awareness. Ask yourself, who brings energy into your life and who takes it away? Who challenges you to grow and who tempts you to settle? The wrong circle can make the right goals impossible. Nothing affects ambition like the company you keep. A weak environment will convince you that average is good enough. Stay in it long enough and you'll begin defending mediocrity. But when you surround yourself with people who expect excellence, you start expecting it from yourself. Improvement here means pruning. It means having the courage to step away from relationships that keep you small. It doesn't mean judging others. It means protecting your potential. Growth demands space. Sometimes you have to clear that space yourself. Choose to spend time with people who make you better simply by being around them. Those who talk about ideas, not gossip. Those who plan futures, not complain about circumstances. Those who remind you of discipline, not distraction. Your environment extends beyond people. It includes what you read, what you watch, where you work, and how you spend your free time. Everything that enters your mind shapes it. If you fill it with negativity, you'll think small. If you feed it with wisdom, you'll think strong. You cannot plant roses in concrete and expect them to bloom. The soil matters, so does the climate, so does the care. Your potential needs the same. It requires an atmosphere of encouragement, of challenge, and of belief. There is also the environment inside your own mind. The thoughts you rehearse daily either build walls or open doors. Improvement requires curating those thoughts, just as you curate your relationships. If you want to live better, you must think better. Evaluate your circle honestly. Who are you learning from? Who holds you accountable? Who would tell you the truth even when it is uncomfortable? Growth thrives on honest mirrors, not flattering voices. If your current environment does not support your next level, you will need to outgrow it. That may mean less time with certain people, less exposure to certain conversations, and more time in solitude, study, and reflection. Solitude is not loneliness. It is construction time for the mind. The strongest people are not those who isolate from the world. They are those who carefully design their world. They choose associations that feed their purpose. They build environments that make success easier instead of harder. So before next year begins, clean your environment. Remove what weakens you. Strengthen what builds you. Create a space where excellence feels normal and growth feels natural. You rise or fall to the level of your surroundings. Build an environment worthy of your potential. The next year will not reward potential. It will reward competence. The world does not pay for what you could do, it pays for what you can do. Skill is the great divider between those who wish and those who win. The marketplace is fair in one way. It does not respond to need. It responds to value. If you want more, you must become more valuable. And value is built through learning, practice, and refinement. The day you stop learning is the day you start losing ground. Every skill you master multiplies opportunity. Every skill you neglect limits it. The question is not whether you have talent. The question is whether you have trained it. Talent is potential. Skill is proof. Too many people want better results without better ability. They want promotion without preparation and reward without refinement. But the marketplace does not operate on hope. It operates on performance, and performance comes from competence, not chance. Study your field, learn the details, know more than you are paid to know. That extra knowledge compounds, it builds a reputation. People notice those who take their craft seriously. Learning does not stop at school. In fact, real learning begins after school. The classroom provides foundation, but life provides application. You must read, observe, and test ideas daily. A book, a seminar, a mentor. Each adds a layer of insight that separates you from the crowd. Skills are not static. What works today may fade tomorrow. That is why adaptability is a skill itself. Keep learning so you can keep adjusting. When you stay current, you stay relevant, and relevance is the new security. The person who keeps learning never fears change. When you are skilled, change becomes an opportunity. When you are unskilled, change becomes a threat. The difference is preparation. And do not forget this. Learning compounds when shared. Teaching what you know reinforces it. Discuss ideas, not just experiences. When you articulate what you have learned, you clarify it for yourself. Improvement does not mean collecting random information. It means directed learning. Study with purpose. Choose subjects that align with your future, not just your interests. It is pleasant to know many things, but it is powerful to master a few. If you want to be ready for next year, ask yourself, which skills will matter most? What abilities would make you indispensable? What knowledge would double your value? Those answers point the way forward. Start small. One new book each month, one course, one deliberate practice session. Over a year, that becomes transformation. The difference between those who improve and those who repeat is not luck. It is consistent learning applied daily. Knowledge without use is just potential energy. Applied knowledge changes everything. The bridge between knowing and doing is practice. Keep crossing it. The best investment you will ever make is in your own skill set. Markets rise and fall, but competence endures. The more skilled you become, the more freedom you earn. Because skill gives you options, and options give you leverage. Before next year begins, decide which part of your craft needs sharpening. Learn it, practice it, own it. Because when the next opportunity comes, and it will, the prepared will always outperform the hopeful. Competence creates confidence. Keep learning until what was once difficult becomes natural. Then learn again. Growth never ends. Your future is built quietly by your habits. Not in bursts of motivation, but in the slow rhythm of what you do every day. People want change, yet they keep their routines the same. But nothing changes until your daily actions change. Habits are the architects of destiny. They shape character, health, income, and confidence. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Goals give direction, habits build the road. Without the road, the destination remains a fantasy. Every habit either serves your future or steals from it. The danger is that most of them operate without your awareness. They run on autopilot. You wake, you waste time, you rush, you repeat. Improvement begins when you interrupt that loop and ask, does this routine still serve who I want to become? Audit your days, watch where your time goes. Observe what you do first in the morning and last before bed. Those moments reveal your true priorities, not the ones you write down, but the ones you live. Successful people are not necessarily more talented. They simply run better routines. They have replaced randomness with rhythm. Each day has structure. Each action reinforces the next. That kind of consistency compounds faster than effort that comes and goes. Here is the truth. Habits create identity. The more you repeat an action, the more you believe it belongs to you. Read daily and soon you see yourself as a learner. Exercise regularly and you see yourself as disciplined. Every habit strengthens or weakens the story you tell yourself. Change a habit and you change that story, but the shift starts small. Do not attempt to overhaul your life overnight. Add one small good habit. Remove one small bad one. Consistency matters more than intensity. Discipline builds habits, but once habits are formed, they sustain discipline. It is easier to act your way into new thinking than to think your way into new acting. The body learns faster than the mind when repetition becomes routine. Guard your morning. It sets the tone for the day. Guard your evening. It determines recovery and reflection. Guard what happens between because those small hours add up to a life. And do not forget, bad habits are easy to form and hard to live with. Good habits are hard to form but easy to live with. You can pay now or pay later, but you will pay. The wise pay early through discipline. The foolish pay later through regret. The smallest habits can create the biggest difference. 5 minutes of gratitude rewires perspective. 10 minutes of planning prevents hours of chaos. A brief daily review can correct course before months drift off track. Design your habits the same way an architect designs a building, deliberately. Do not let them happen by accident. You cannot build excellence on randomness. Routine does not restrict you, it frees you. When good habits run your day, your mind stays free for creativity and opportunity. So before next year begins, decide what habits must stay, what must go, and what must begin. The future you want is hiding in the actions you repeat. Change the routine and the results will follow. Habits do not just create success, they sustain it. Build routines that serve your vision, and next year will reward you for what you have practiced daily, not what you have promised occasionally. Things will go wrong, plans will fall apart, people will disappoint you, markets will shift. That is life. The question is not whether trouble will come, it is whether you will stay steady when it does. Resilience is the difference between those who finish strong and those who give up early. The mind is your greatest asset or your greatest liability. You cannot control what happens, but you can control what it means. The same event that breaks one person can build another, depending on their mindset. The difference lies not in the circumstance, but in the interpretation. Most people react. They let emotion drive their response, but reacting burns energy and clouds judgment. Improvement means learning to respond instead. To pause, to think, to choose. A strong mind does not panic, it evaluates. Resilience is not toughness without feeling. It is strength with perspective. It is the ability to take a hit without losing your purpose. When something fails, the resilient mind asks, "What can this teach me?" Not, "Why me?" Life does not get easier, you get stronger. Every challenge has two sides, pain and potential. If you only see the pain, you lose the lesson. If you see the lesson, you gain the growth. The lesson always pays more than the struggle costs. Adversity introduces you to yourself. You do not truly know your capacity until life tests it. Hard times reveal what comfort hides. That is why you must welcome resistance. It is not your enemy. It is your training partner. Without resistance, there is no growth. The quality of your mindset determines the quality of your future. A fixed mind sees limits. A growth mind sees leverage. A fixed mind fears failure. A growth mind studies it. If you believe everything happens to you, you will stay a victim. If you believe everything happens for you, you will become a student. Resilient people do not expect life to be fair. They expect it to be a test, and they prepare for that test daily. They feed their mind with principles, not emotions. They anchor decisions in discipline, not mood. When you operate from principle, you stay steady no matter what happens. When you operate from emotion, you live in chaos. Emotions change hourly. Principles endure. They become the compass when visibility is low. You build resilience before the storm, not during it. Daily habits like reading, journaling, exercising, and reflection strengthen mental endurance. They store up emotional energy for the days when life demands it. Gratitude also builds resilience. It is hard to stay bitter while counting your blessings. Gratitude turns difficulty into data. It helps you see what remains instead of what is missing. So before next year begins, toughen the mind. Practice detachment from outcomes and attachment to effort. Control what you can, release what you cannot, and learn from everything. Your response shapes your results. Weak minds see obstacles as endings. Strong minds see them as instruction. Resilience is not about surviving. It is about using adversity to rise. Next year will test you. Let it. Because every test you pass expands your confidence, and confidence earned through endurance becomes unshakable. Respond with wisdom. Stand with courage. Keep your principles steady when everything else shifts. That is real strength. Next, we can all improve our vision, the way we see our future. Without vision, effort turns into motion without meaning. You can be busy all year and still end up nowhere if you do not know where you are going. Purpose gives direction to discipline. Vision turns labor into legacy. A person with no vision drifts. They wake up reacting to circumstances instead of designing them. They go where the wind blows, then wonder why they never arrive. You cannot improve your life if you have not defined what better means. Purpose answers the question why. Vision answers the question where. When you know both, decisions become easier. You stop chasing everything and start choosing what fits. Clarity simplifies life. The danger is living someone else's dream. Many people spend their lives following the crowd, then reach the end and realize they never lived their own values. Do not let that happen. Define your purpose before the world defines it for you. Purpose does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It reveals itself through what you are drawn to, what frustrates you, what you cannot ignore. Pay attention to those signals. They are clues to where your contribution lies. Vision is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint. It is seeing the finished structure before the foundation is laid. Once you can see it, you can plan it. Once you can plan it, you can build it. Improvement without vision becomes chaos. Vision gives your habits, skills, and focus a destination. Your purpose gives power to endurance. When you know why you are doing something, obstacles become training, not torment. Without that why, even small problems feel like heavy burdens. With it, even big problems feel like stepping stones. Take time to define what success truly looks like for you. Not for your neighbor, not for the industry, not for the crowd, but for you. What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of impact do you want to make? Write it down. Review it often because a written vision guides like a compass when emotions shift. A clear purpose turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. When your actions align with your mission, every small task gains significance. You stop asking, "Do I have to?" and start saying, "I get to." Remember, purpose evolves as you do. It deepens with understanding. Do not wait until it feels perfect. Start with what you know and refine it along the way. Movement clarifies meaning. Before next year begins, ask, what is my vision for the next 12 months? What will improvement look like in real terms? What kind of life will make me proud a year from now? Those questions shape the blueprint for progress. When vision is clear, effort becomes automatic. Purpose is the engine. Goals are the wheels. Together they move you forward with force and focus. The greatest tragedy is not failing to reach a goal. It is reaching one that did not matter. So choose goals that match your values and vision. Success without meaning is just exhaustion in disguise. Decide what you want, commit to why you want it, and align every discipline toward it. Next year will reward those who live by purpose, not by pressure. Vision defines direction. Purpose sustains it. Together, they turn the next year into a mission instead of a mystery. Next, this is the one that separates talkers from doers: accountability. Information does not change life. Execution does. You already know what to improve: discipline, focus, health, money, relationships, skills, habits, mindset, purpose. The question now is, will you act? Accountability is the bridge between intention and achievement. Without it, even good plans fade. The human mind forgets promises faster than it makes them. That is why you must anchor goals to action and action to a schedule. What gets measured gets done. Do not wait for the perfect time. There is not one. Start small, but start now. Pick one area each week and move on it. Read one book on money. Fix one habit that drains your time. Reach out to one person who sharpens you. One step per week, 52 steps in a year, and your life will look entirely different. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. The year ahead will reward consistency, not intensity. It is not one massive effort that changes everything. It is the quiet daily follow-through that compounds. Hold yourself accountable. No one else will care as much about your life as you should. Do not blame circumstances, timing, or others. Responsibility is the starting point of transformation. The moment you accept total ownership, excuses lose their power. Accountability means facing the mirror without flinching. It means being honest about where you are and disciplined about where you are going. Growth demands truth, not comfort. Find someone who will hold you to your word. A mentor, a partner, a peer group. Tell them your goals and ask them to check your progress. Pressure can be a gift when it keeps you aligned with your potential. And track your progress, write it down. Numbers tell stories emotion hides. When you see improvement, even small, motivation grows. When you see slippage, correction follows. A written record becomes your private scoreboard. Next year will not reward hope. It will reward habit. It will not honor excuses. It will honor execution. Improvement is not an event. It is a process. Every day you either reinforce your future or repeat your past. Do not wait for January to change. Start before the calendar does. When the new year arrives, let it find you already in motion. Because if you do not act now, momentum will not find you later. Every day, small disciplines build invisible progress. Then one day, the results appear and everyone calls it sudden success. But nothing is sudden about success. It is earned quietly, one accountable choice at a time. So make next year your year of accountability. Review this list often. Pick one thing, improve it, move on to the next. Keep repeating until progress becomes natural and growth becomes expected. Time will pass anyway. Make sure it passes in your favor. The next year starts now.